Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a special Saturday edition of the Smart Scarecrow Show. Glad to see so many in attendance. Just checking the those who are watching live from Justin TV. This is a good bit larger than our typical crowd. Looks like we've got just under 40 actively logged in to the chat room. Looks like we've got about 100 more than that watching live from Justin TV. Looks like 144 Justin TV, 39 logged into the chat room. Now I would mention to those who are watching without being logged in to Justin TV, if you're interested in engaging in chat, we do have a pretty active chat room going on right now. You will have to establish an account on Justin TV and be logged in order to engage in chat. It's not my rule, it's a Justin TV rule. So if you'd like to join us in chat, please do set up an account on Justin TV. It's free, it's not going to cost you anything. And log into the chat room, and you'll find about 40 other folks in there who are throwing rotten vegetables at each other and talking bad about each other's mamas. In any case, for this special Saturday presentation, we have a live interview with Andrea Rossi coming to us all the way from Italy. Now, we have been fighting issues with Justin TV most of the afternoon. I do a pre-show broadcast where I play a bunch of music videos before the show, and that helps me monitor the Justin TV system. I can see how it's going. And boy, the available frame rate is in the toilet right now. So I can tell you what I have done is I have dramatically reduced the complexity of the output stream that I'm sending to Justin TV, basically to conserve on bandwidth and try to make the most of what little Justin has available to give us today. But I am recording this session in as high a quality as I possibly can. So later on, if you do decide you'd like to see it as a rerun, it'll be posted up on YouTube and all the other various sites that I post these things. And I can assure you the quality of the recording should be up to our usual standards. But right now, if you'll stand by, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn the show over to Sterling Allen, who will introduce Mr. Rossi and move us right along into tonight's presentation. So here we go. Stand by.
Hi, Gary.
Hey, Sterling. I think I've got your audio live, and frankly, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, but as soon as you introduce our special guest for the day, I'll be cutting over and making his audio live also.
And I'd like to welcome you to chime in at times as you would like to get clarification. Maybe somebody has a hankering question. We've gone past the topic and you maybe want to get back to that topic with a question that's been coming from the audience. Feel free to chime in, okay?
Sure. I will be monitoring the chat room. Now, you fellas in the chat room, what I hope we can do is save about 10 or 15 minutes towards the end of our session today where we will specifically address the live audience for questions. I would hate to interrupt any planned presentations right in the middle to address audience questions. So if a really good question comes to mind, I'm going to do my Lindsey Williams things here. Please get a pencil and a piece of paper and write your question down, and at the appropriate time, we will field whatever questions and comments might be available out there.
That sounds like a good plan. So we're planning on having this last about an hour. So the last 15 minutes will be the questions from the live audience, so we can get those addressed. We have gotten preliminary questions that have been sent by email and other means. If you could keep track of the Justin TV chat, I'm going to be keeping track of the chat at the bottom of our PES Wiki page where people can post questions live as well. And then, Gary, if you could send through Skype chat to me any hot questions that are coming in through Justin TV, that would be great. And then if I don't get to those, then we can address those at the end. That sounds like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. Take it away, Sterling. It's all yours.
All right, well, thanks for hosting this live Free Energy Now interview on your Scarecrow program. And to everyone else out there, welcome to the show. You can find our program index online at freeenergynow.net, where you can see a list of past guests, listen to those interviews, and read the stories associated with their appearances. We're honored today to be able to interview Andrea Rossi, inventor of the ecat, or energy catalyzer, a heat generator using cold fusion technology, also called LENR, or low energy nuclear reaction. Today is a landmark day marking the 1-year anniversary of the press conference they held on January 14, 2011 in Bologna, Italy, where he announced and demonstrated a 10 kilowatt cold fusion module. What a year it has been as we have watched this unfold. The ecat utilizes small amounts of nickel powder, hydrogen gas, and a proprietary catalyst under a bit of pressure and small heat to produce a safe and clean form of nuclear fusion. This form of nuclear fusion requires no radioactive materials, produces no radioactive waste, and emits no pollution into the environment. The low price and other advantages could make this the much-sought solution to the energy crisis. The ecat went commercial on October 28th last year, an event I was privileged to attend, rolling out a 1 megawatt plant. Andrea Rossi is planning to go into production with a 10 to 20 kilowatt heat device, launching 1 million units this fall. National Instruments is assisting with the controls for those units. Andrea Rossi is an engineer, businessman, inventor, came up with a biofuel generator technology a few years back, and has been running that business, sold that business to finance research and development on this technology. Originally from Italy, he now resides in the United States, though today he's in Rome. And Andrea Rossi, we welcome you to this program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I am honored to be with you tonight.
Thank you. And we are covering a wide range of time zones, all the way from morning over in Hawaii to near midnight your time in Rome. People from all over the planet listening in. So,
as a matter of fact, I noticed a few people in the chat room from way down under. I know we've got a couple out there from New Zealand and Australia. So you're talking to the world.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's start out by giving just a little bit of background. You currently reside in the United States, originally from Italy. Could you tell us about your early life? For example, what was it like growing up in Italy?
Well, I have made in Italy from 1970. When I started to work, I am born in 1950. I have made biomass powered energy plant, and that has been my source of work. When in 1989 Fleshman and Pons made their press conference announcing their discovery, I have been fascinated from that fact, and from that period I started to try to reproduce their effect, and I did not succeed to reproduce it with their system, so I have researched other systems, and at around 2006 to 2007, we started to have an amount of energy produced using low energy nuclear reactions, and at that point I have focused the attention exclusively on this issue. As you correctly said, I sold all my other businesses and financed this research. I asked the help of the University of Bologna through Professor Focardi, and I must say that initially I asked to him to be a consultant to us to show me that my system could never work, to make me free from it, because it was an obsession. So it was too good to be true. So I said, please explain to me why it does not work. And after some day he said, I have a bad news for you. This system, I think that works, and so it is worth that you stay in this trail. So we worked together. We asked his consulting mainly for the safety issues, to go ahead with the experiments in a safe way, and to make the prototypes so that they could be safe. And then we arrived to the presentation of 1 year ago, when we were ready to present an apparatus able to produce an energy that was usable in real industrial situations. I hope that my English is enough to let you understand what I am saying. I do not. I hope it is good for the listeners to understand what I am saying.
Oh, I understand it quite well. You do fine. Thank you. And I'll try and articulate my questions so you can understand. We should tell the audience that your computer internet connection, you're having problems with it presently, and so we weren't able to give you the most recent set of questions. You do have some earlier questions that we had ready to present. The next question I would like to ask is if you could give us just a short introduction to the ecat, how it works.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, very good. Yes, the ecat, we must put a distinction between the industrial plants and what will be the domestic plant that we will start to deliver in the next winter. In any case, the standard module of an ecat is made by a small box as big as a box of cigarettes, to give an idea, inside which there is powder of nickel and is compressed hydrogen. Inside this envelope are also the catalyzers, from which the name ecat, which is a shortcut for energy catalyzer. The differences of pressure and temperature, properly handled, produce an effect that emits low energy gamma rays. The gamma rays then hit the wall of lead, and the lead turns the gamma ray, the low energy gamma rays, into heat. The heat then heats the water that flows outside the reactor, and this is why heating is produced. To produce a megawatt hour of energy, we employ a very, very, very teeny amount of hydrogen and nickel, and this effect has now been understood very well, and the theory will be presented soon. This way we can produce energy without emission of any kind of gas, without, as you correctly say, the production of any kind of waste, without, of course, using radioactive materials, without leaving radioactive materials, without emitting CO2 and or noise or anything else. So it is environmentally friendly.
Also, the technology cannot melt down, as you might hear of a nuclear plant melting down. There's no possibility of doing that, correct?
No, because we do not use radioactive materials, and since the materials that we use are nickel and hydrogen, should the temperature go too high, at that point the nickel, which is just nickel, like the metal of the 5 cents of dollars, that is a nickel too. And the nickel, when melts, is no more powder. The ecat cannot work if the nickel is not a powder. So automatically, intrinsically, we say, if the temperature goes too high, the ecat turns out, is switched off, because it has no more proper nickel in powder form to operate.
Okay, very good. Another question I have, and I've actually wanted to ask you this many times over the last year. In your press conference, you talked about a facility that had been heated using your ecat technology. I'm curious, is that facility still being heated by that technology, so now it's 2 years continuous, or was that terminated?
The facility that used the very first generation of ECATs for a couple of years to heat the room, etc., is the facility that I sold to finance this production. And that particular facility has been closed, but ECATs are right now working in rooms and houses of us, just to test them in continuous. So we have ECATs that are working in continuous right now, just to test them.
So can we say that that facility has now been powered for 3 years continuous?
2 years.
Or heated? 2 years now.
Yes, it's important what you're saying. What we produce now is just heat, because we have not yet resolved the problems that we have to turn this heat into electric energy. It will take between 1 and 2 years to be able to make ECATs that make also electricity besides heat. For now, we are just heating with our ECATs.
I understand the technology utilizes normal nickel, which is very abundant, and ordinary hydrogen, which is basically inexhaustible. In a future, let's say that the ecat becomes ubiquitously used around the planet, reaches market penetration, could you conceive of having a nickel shortage because of all these devices being powered by tiny amounts of nickel accumulated with many devices would turn into a lot of nickel?
Absolutely not, because the amount of nickel that we consume is very, very, very teeny respect the amount of nickel that is produced. To understand well this, I can use numbers. You must consider that 1 gram of matter, of mass of matter, of nickel or of anything in this world, is equal, can produce, if turned into heat, can produce 23,000 megawatt hours of energy. again, 1 gram of mass of nickel can produce 23,000 megawatts of energy. If you think this, you can imagine that even if this kind of technology will be well diffused in in our planet, the amount of nickel consumed in 1 year will be less than the 1% of the nickel that today is produced in the world. And so the answer to your question is that no, it is impossible that there can be shortages of nickel, because it is absolutely irrelevant, the amount that is consumed.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you. Regarding you've conducted at least a dozen tests in the last year. I'm curious, which of those tests do you feel best about in terms of how solidly or credibly it presented a case to prove the technology?
We have made, many public tests, but you must consider that we make tests every day in our laboratory with our consultants, with our operators. Now the technology is very solid. The cases now are very stable. We are able now. We are manufacturing right now 1 megawatt plants, while for the domestic small ecats, we first of all we have started the certification process with underwriter laboratories, which will be necessary to sell the ecats. And at the same time, we are engineering right now. We are preparing a totally robotized manufacturing factory, which will be able to produce 1 million pieces per year, and this will be in the United States. And I am honored to say this because I reside in the USA. I love the United States, and I wanted, for many reasons that now I cannot explain, to develop in the United States this technology. And I want that this technology is American.
Can you say which state in the United States the production would be?
In Florida.
Okay.
And at this point, the very important issue now, for many reasons, is to push the price of an ecate very, very down, because this technology must be for all. And I want that a 10 kilowatt ecate costs around $500. And to make this, we must absolutely robotize and engineer very well the manufacturing lines, because, you know, to compete, because once we will have diffused our devices, our ecates in the market, we will be subject to copies, to international, copies and competition, and to compete against. Also because yes, we have patent spending, but to be well sure that the reverse engineering will not put in jeopardy our production, we have to make it the best way to fight against the competition is to have very low prices. And so this is the effort that now we are making, because I foresee that we will have to compete again productions made in China, and we have China or other countries where of course the work we cannot compete against that kind of system, social system that makes the work have costs that are unsustainable for us. So we have to fight against them with better engineering in the production lines. And now our efforts are passed from the technology of the ecat, which is mature and stable right now, to the engineering system, because if not, we have won the battle of the technology, and we risk to lose the war of the competition. This is why now we have to work very hard on the engineering, and we are doing it. And so we will be able to put in the market in a very cheap way, and you will be surprised from the very high level of easiness of use of the ecat. We are making a very good engineering. So sorry, maybe I have been too long, but you know, I have been got from the flow of the enthusiasm on what we are doing. Sorry.
No, that's fine. You just have to understand, if you give long answers, we're going to have to stay longer. I should mention, I don't think we have any limitations on time here. We're shooting for an hour, but we
absolutely
could go
no
longer.
limitations. We can go until Mr. Rossi gets tired. I understand it's about 11 o'clock in the evening where he is. I'm not sure what time his bedtime is, but I'll tell you, by 11 o'clock I start thinking about my jammies and a warm bed.
Do not worry. Do not worry. I am very. I am delighted to be with you tonight.
Oh, great. If we hear your head plunk down on the desktop, then we'll know it's time to stop.
Sorry, I did not hear. Excuse me. Can you repeat?
I just made a joke that if we hear your head plunk down on your desk, we'll know it's time to stop. Okay, another question. In terms of the size of the device, I just actually wanted to make a comment too. When you talk about $500 for a 10 kilowatt heat unit, my understanding is that the conventional or the competition right now is around $1,000 per kilowatt. So $500 for 10 kilowatts is 5% of what people are paying right now for a comparable system. So you're saying that the competition you're trying to stay below is not the present competition, but the upcoming competition that would use this technology, correct?
Yes, it's correct. We must foresee the reverse engineering, and to put knockout the reverse engineering that will come from countries that do not respect the standards of welfare of workers that we respect in the USA. We have to be prepared and so that it will be impossible to beat us under the economic point of view. If not, we will make the end of the companies like Solindra or the other one that started making solar panels, but then arrived the Chinese and they have been put out of business. And we have to study very well those cases, those history cases, because we must foresee what they will do, and we must anticipate this war, because it's a war, and we want to win it.
Yeah. Well, I know that it's certainly not conventional, but nothing that you have done has been conventional, so why should we expect any different? Here's another question. A lot of people, of course, are very curious about your catalyst, and we understand that you need to keep that proprietary, but here's the wording of a question regarding the catalyst. You have said these catalysts are chemical elements in addition to hydrogen and nickel that are placed into the reactor core of an ecat. Could you describe for a moment the importance of these catalysts?
Yes, the importance is substantial, because without them the ecat does not work. Many other technology based on nickel and hydrogen tried to work, but but they did not work. And this is why we have to cover them. Of course, once we will have millions of pieces in the market, it will not be very, very difficult for a proper laboratory to understand which are these catalysts. But at that point, as I said before, we will be at a so well-engineered production system that the reverse engineering will not be enough to compete with us, because after that there will be the necessity to compete with us upon the price, and so I hope we will take an advantage.
Also, while we're talking about the function of the technology, there's also been talk, both from you and others, about some kind of a frequency that is used to impose on the system some kind of electromagnetic or radio, some kind of vibrational frequency. Could you talk about that for a minute?
I am very sorry. But this is a confidential issue.
Okay.
Yes, we use. I can say you this, that we use a system that is similar to what happens in the Oriental martial arts. Oriental martial arts. Sorry, my pronunciation, is a little bit shaky. The effect is based on the fact that the forces that theoretically should fight against us, and I mean the Colombian forces, are used to help us. This is the principle. And this is the issue. This effect is an effect where we have turned to our advantage what theoretically has to be to our disadvantage. That's all I can say you, my friend.
Okay, that's good. By email, a Wolf Fisher asked this question: in the past year, in the tests that you have run, how often did the ecat work as you wanted it to? And can you perhaps tell us how good it is working now because of the better controlling hardware and software from National Instruments?
Good question. Yes, we are working very well with NI, and we are learning a lot from them, and surely their technology is helping us in the stability issue, and this will be very useful mainly in the test to arrive to the production of electricity, because you could ask me, why are you able to make heat and are you not yet able to make electricity? While it should be very easy to turn heat into electricity. It is not a big issue to turn heat into electricity. Yes, theoretically it's true, but the fact is that to make electricity with acceptable efficiency, you must have temperatures of at least 400 Celsius degrees, which means kind around 1,000 Fahrenheit degrees, and this fact makes unstable the reactors. Now we have a very good stability now, and the ecat at up to 120 Celsius degrees are very stable and work properly without no problems at all. Without peaks, 1 year ago we had problems of peaks that made unstable the reactor. Now, after 1 year, we have reached a very good stability until 120 Celsius. So, to make heat is not a problem. To go higher than that, because, theoretically it should be easy to raise the temperature, because you put in series instead of in parallel the ecats, and putting them in series, you should raise the temperature. Yes, it is true, but unfortunately, when we arrive to high temperatures, we have problems. And but we are resolving these problems, and we are resolving these problems with the help of the customer that has bought that the 1 megawatt plant. By the way, you have assisted to the test of that plant because I invited you, and with the help of National Instruments, which is a wonderful supplier, because their philosophy is to teach to their customer to fish. They said me in one of the first meetings I had with their managers and their scientists, they said, we want to teach to your company to fish. We want not just to sell to you a fish, but we want to we want, they said, you to learn to fish, because if you learn to fish, we can go fishing together and upgrade together the technology. And this philosophy of theirs is a philosophy that will give very good results. Okay, I am enthusiastic of that.
Regarding the ecat unit that you said that you have submitted to Underwriter Laboratory, my understanding is that when you present something to Underwriter Laboratory or UL, it basically has to be the embodiment that is going to be used by the customer. So it's already fully engineered for production, and the UL stamp is the final stamp before it's handed to the customer. Is that unit the one that you have developed previously? That, for example, Eyewitness that you just mentioned on October 28th in Bologna?
No, the unit that has to be certified is the unit exactly how it will be when we will put it in. We have made prototypes of the unit, which is much smaller, much lighter, etc., because it's already engineered to be produced in big quantities, so it's already engineered, and it has been assembled along the directions that already the engineer of UL that is I am working with gave us.
And so that you have such a unit handed to the UL is a strong indication of how far along you are toward production. That's congratulations are to be offered.
Thank you. Thank you. I can assure you that the time we do not spend in conferences is spent in doing things. I am maybe rightly. I want to say many people complain the fact that we never go to conferences, and such kind of things, etc., etc., etc. The problem is that I have no time because to make all this, it is necessary to work 15, 16 hours per day. If you go around the world to make a test, conferences, etc., etc., you cannot work. And the problem is that we have a roadmap that is scheduled in very fast times, and we have absolutely not time to lose. And about NI, National Instruments, what I want to say is also this, that they are exactly as us because they are very fast. They're very fast in everything, and this is a good thing.
Yeah. I want to thank you for coming on our show because that you are very greedy for your time and that you do not give many interviews or talk to the media very often. And so we're grateful.
I accepted this interview because you are a very serious scientific journalist, and I appreciate you as a person. But yes, it is true. I do not like to make interviews, but to make interviews with a serious scientific journalist is delighting, as it is this evening.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about the home ecat units, the 10 to 20 kilowatt size that you're going to be producing million of this fall. There are a lot of questions about those. If you could maybe give us an idea of what it's going to look like, what it's going to do, where are we going to plug it in the home? Is it going to replace the water heater? Is it going to replace the home heater? Is it going to supplement? Will it be able to later have a plug that you could add an electrical generator system to it with an upgrade? What could you maybe paint a picture for us of what it's going to look like?
It will look like a small portable computer. It will have close the dimensions of a small portable computer, and it will be possible to apply it to any existing heater. So you will just it is a the model for me has been the software of Microsoft. The software of Microsoft is a operative processor that you insert in any computer of the world, and the concept is the same. The ecat will be a processor able to make heat that you can slip in any kind of heater existing in the world in a very simple way, and every contractor or installer will be able to plug it in and to refill it, which is necessary every 6 months or every 180 days of operation. It will be very easy because it will like to refill a pen, and this will be the ecat.
And another question that comes up quite regularly is regarding the response time In a home, for example, somebody opens up a bunch of doors and the temperature drops. You want to be able to turn the heat up. Will the ecat be able to respond in a fairly rapid time? The thermostat on the wall, for example, that governs a regular heater, expects to have a certain response time. Will the ecat be able to provide the heat to turn on, to turn off in a period of time that the thermostat will be happy with?
Yes. For what concerns the water for the heating system, to heat the rooms, to heat factories, houses, etc., yes, it will have the necessary elasticity. For the sanitary water, where you need, the fact that the gas turns on when you open the valve of the water to wash your hands, and then you close the valve and the gas turns off. This elasticity, of course, is impossible. So the ecat will be plugged to resolve basically the circuit to be connected fundamentally with the heating circuit, while the existing heater will continue to be the one used for the sanitary. Is correct in English, sanitary?
Cemetery?
If I say sanitary, how do you call the water
symmetry.
that is used?
Symmetry.
Sanitary, exactly. Exactly. For the sanitary water, the existing heater will work, while we will cover the heating water.
I'm not sure if I have that word right. Gary, maybe somebody from your audience can help figure out what he's getting at there. And while we're trying to get that clarified,
Some are suggesting sanitary.
Your heater gives you two kinds of waters. The water to heat the radiators, to give the heat, to give the right temperature to the rooms. Okay. Do you hear me?
yes.
And the water, for example, to make a shower or to wash your hands.
Sanitario?
Okay. Do you understand?
Oh, sanitary,
So,
potable, potable water.
Gray water.
Maybe.
He's thinking gray water.
Okay. So yes, you're talking
basically-
about two types of systems. One for the home heat, which is not going on the body or being ingested, and one for the hot water that comes out of the faucets for use, potable or for showers.
Very good. The second one that you have said, which is a minimum part of the energy that is consumed in a household, needs an elasticity that we do not have. While the first one, which is the water of the heater to keep warm a house during the winter, that is exactly the operation where the ecat has the necessary elasticity.
Okay.
Have I been able to explain myself? Huh?
Yes, you're saying that, for example, if I take a long shower and I use all the water in the hot water heater, the ecat technology would not be a good fit to heat that water because of the response time, but it would be a good fit to heat the fluid that heats the home. Is that correct?
Perfect.
Okay.
This is exactly what I wanted to say. I'm going to keep lessons of English from you.
No, you do great. I want to go back to talk about earlier the What was discussed when this technology was first announced a year ago, my understanding was one of the first good customer matches would be utilities, power plants who are using natural gas or coal or other things to heat water to generate electricity. Your system could be used to preheat the water. Their system would be used to top it off. So while the ecat can't get up high enough to produce electricity, it can preheat the water. Is that still something that you have people inquiring about?
Yes. Yes, you are right.
Okay. Do you have any, I'm just curious, do you have any customers in line to do that specific application?
We are, yes, we have in line this. The big problem along this path is the problem of the authorizations, because power plants have a very complex set of authorizations, and every when they change anything, they have to renew the authorizations. And you know that the authorization process for the power plant is a very complicated one. So we have in line discussions with power plant operators to do this, because this is one of the issues for which this technology is very, very fit. But this is not, while it is not difficult to apply under a technological point of view, it is difficult to apply under a administrative, authoritative point of view.
Correct. The technology is there, but the bureaucracy will take a while.
Correct.
You gotta love it.
Correct.
Let's go back to the ecat, and we have, if I understand right, every 6 months or so, for lack of a better term, a refueling where you need to replace the nickel cartridge and the hydrogen canister. Is that, if, for example, somebody was away and they used very little heat, would their system last for a year or 2 years? Or could you maybe address the whole refueling paradigm for a minute?
Of course. What counts is not when I say that a charge lasts 180 days, I mean 180 operational days. So if you use it if you use it for 1 month per year, it will one charge will last 6 years, not 6 months. The charge is consumed. The charge is consumed only if you need the operation. If you do not need the operation, you turn the ecat off, and after 30 minutes, 1 hour maximum, the ecat is turned off and consumes nothing.
And that's why there would be some kind of indicator on the ecat that would tell the user when they need to get the system recharged, correct?
Correct.
And is that something that they would purchase through you, or is it something that they could maybe, and then they would send back, for example, their old nickel cartridge to be reused or recharged?
Yes, exactly. Our assistance point, which will be closer to the customer, and later I will explain you why. Will supply to the customer the refills, and the customer can change the refill himself, or if he wants, the installer can, or the plumber can go to make the change. It's a very easy operation, and the old cartridge will be sent back to us because we recycle it, and we have just to retreat the nickel, and then the cartridge, the old cartridge becomes new and is ready to be put again in operation, so there will be a circulation of cartridge because you have an ecat. When the cartridge is consumed, you give it back to our agency and change, put on the new one, and the old one goes in our factory to be retreated, and of course completely recycled, and that's it. The reason why I said before that the assistance point will be close to the customers is very simple, because the fact that an ecat can be attached to any kind of heater that you already have makes possible to us to tell you to go to your installer, to your traditional installer or plumber or whatever, and put him in contact with us, and we will give him instructions to assist you. And
what would be the refill cost?
Sorry?
The refill cost?
The retail cost, if you change the refill yourself, is basically nothing. Just the cost of the cartridge. A cartridge can cost $10, and to refill it, if you refill it yourself, that's over. And then you have to spend nothing more. If not, you have to pay the installer the trip, the return trip that he has to make to come to your house and change it.
The cartridge might be $10. The shipping might be $40.
No, because we will, because your assistant, maybe you are right.
So once more people have these, then you can get the cartridge locally, and you don't have to order it from Florida or from Italy, but you can order it from a local vendor, or pick it up at Walmart.
Or from Massachusetts, because it is possible that the next week I will be in Massachusetts, in Boston, because it is possible that we will put a manufacturing unit in Massachusetts.
And also, could you purchase additional cartridges and have them stored so that you don't have to order one every time you run out?
Yes, of course.
What about the hydrogen cartridge?
Later, the cartridge has to be sent back to us, but we will find a solution to this to spare the logistics.
You know, on a side note, Zero Fossil Fuel, a regular in the chat room, is offering to buy Mr. Rossi dinner while he's in Boston. So if there's a way we could arrange that, and Mr. Rossi's game and would like to have a free dinner on Zero Fossil Fuel, I think we can make the arrangements.
All right. Also, we were talking about the logistics of refill. What about the hydrogen canister?
Here is a big surprise, and this is a big surprise. It is very likely the case that we are working with now work without canisters of hydrogen because we have resolved the problem with a substance that inside the reactor stores and recycles the hydrogen, consuming it, but you know we consume picograms of hydrogen, and so a charge of 10 grams lasts 6 months of operation. So basically we have resolved the problem of the canisters. The problem of the canisters was very big for the domestic ecats, because to get a safety certification for an apparatus that has a tank of hydrogen was very difficult. And so we have resolved the problem. This is a tremendous improvement of our technology that we made in these last times.
So if I understand what you just said, there's no hydrogen canister required?
No.
Okay, you just opened up a whole bunch of questions with that, because previously weren't you using the pressure of hydrogen to govern or control the rate of reaction?
Yes, we have resolved the problem using temperatures.
Huh.
Gentlemen, I should butt in here momentarily and just mention that we are at the 1 hour point. I'm certainly prepared to go longer if Sterling and Mr. Rossi are so inclined, but I do want to ask that please we do reserve some time before we cut this show off to take on some of the great questions that have been coming through the chat room.
And I have been keeping an eye on the questions as you're posting them in Skype and trying to integrate some of those as we're going along too. Okay, on the here's a question from Thomas Olzelski through email concerning the using the ecat in the home environment. Heat requirements for a home can change rapidly. Sorry, we already addressed that one. Is the life of the fuel charge determined by the operating time or the total output power? For example, if operated at 50%, would the fuel charge last twice as long? You addressed that one too. I apologize here.
I have understood, but this is the question you already had put me before.
Correct. Correct.
The charge is consumed only during the operational work of the ecat. So if you work for 1 day and stop and do not make the ecat work for 5 days, of course, the charge consumes only during that day, not the other 5. So when we say that a charge lasts 180 days, this does not mean 180 calendar days. It means 180 operational days.
Right. Okay. On the going back to the price of $50 per kilowatt or $500 for 10 kilowatts, in addition to using robotics for mass production, what other devices or mechanisms are you employing to bring the price so low?
It is basically is automatization. Automation basically is that.
Okay.
So basically is that is we are engineering a factory where we can automatize everything at the maximum level.
Okay.
To cut the times. to cut the times, to cut the cost of assembling, and that's it.
Okay. How do you plan on distributing these systems?
We are organizing the network with licenses and with agencies. We will also sell the ecats in the internet. And again, to organize the assistance network, we will ask to the customers to put us in contact with their usual trusted contractor or plumber or installer, and so that we will have he will have the usual assistance, and we will extend this way an assistance network close to where we have real customers.
Okay. And back to the home ecat unit, is this on the 1 megawatt size? You had it run in self-loop mode where the output was powering the input with energy left over. Do you anticipate having the home units run in self-loop mode ever?
Yes, sure. Automatically the ecat will go in self-sustained mode when the control system will decide it. The 10 kilowatt ecat will work exactly as the 1 megawatt ecat under this point of view. But this will be completely automatically done. It is not something like in an electric car, like in a today's electric car. Is the control system that decides when it goes by gas or when it goes by the batteries. The driver has just to drive. And analogously, the cat will go in self-sustained mode or in drive-in mode automatically. This will not be a choice of the owner.
Okay. And so it might pull a lot of energy when it's starting up, but once it's been running for a while, it will go into self-loop mode, and the input energy will be just for some of these supplemental systems such as fans or other things.
Correct.
Okay. In regards to the science of the reaction that's going on, where you are transmutating nickel and hydrogen into copper, one of the comments I've seen many times, including just now, is the emission of gamma radiation that is expected in such a circumstance. You have detected some gamma radiation, but apparently you're supposed to see high energy gamma radiation. Could you maybe comment on that?
Yes. The transmutation of nickel in copper is a side effect of the working of the ecat. The main effect that happens inside is an effect that emits low energy gamma rays. The transmutation in copper is a side effect, and yes, we have got evidence of the 511 180 degrees couples, 511 Kelvs gammas at 180 degrees. We got them, which come from the reaction between the matter of electrons and the antimatter of the protons, of the positrons. Sorry. But this is just a side effect. But to explain exactly the theory of what happens inside until we do not decide to disclose the technology is basically not possible. But again, yes, we got evidence. Evidence, and we will publish the documents about this of the 511 cabs. But I am afraid that this language is a little bit too difficult for the audience that we have tonight.
Right. Let's go and talk about the 1 megawatt system for a second. The
Yes.
1 megawatt plant that I saw in Bologna that was purchased, can you give us an update of its present status? Is it in operation? Is it still in research and development? Are there modifications being made? Where's it at?
Is in modification because we are preparing with National Instruments the new control system, and we had to make modifications to the system of gaskets because you know that also in the report of the test has been written that we had a problem of leakages of the gaskets, and so we had to substitute because the test has been judged as positive from the customer, but with the reserve of the fact that we had to change all the gasket system. But in the meantime, we also have matured a new control philosophy with National Instruments that is in execution right now, and we foresee that it will go in operation within a month, maximum two, in the field of the customer.
Okay. And also, you are going to build 12 additional units for that same customer.
Yes. Yes.
Are those underway?
Yes.
And I pieced together the information from three things where at one point you said the first customer was U.S. In another post you said that the first customer was military. And then in another post, or in the interview you did with the guys who did that, I believe in the ecat song, you said that the first customer was the same as the second customer. And so from that, I concluded that the first customer is the U.S. military. Would you mind commenting on that?
No, I cannot comment at all because maybe that I gave this information about this because the issue is that the customer is a kind of customer that absolutely wants not to be disclosed, and I am bound to an NDA, and I cannot absolutely add anything to this.
Okay, and then one more question on the 1 megawatt. Have there been any more sold besides those first 13?
I am sorry, I did not hear very well. Can you kindly repeat?
Sure. In addition to those first 13 1 megawatt unit cells, have there been any other cells of the 1 megawatt size?
Yes, we have sold another one, and we have many in discussion.
Okay. Moving on, we want to talk about some challenges. We talked about certification and National Instruments. Okay. A while back you mentioned that with the help of a customer you had been able to produce a steady output steam of 400 degrees Celsius. and obtaining such high temperature steam helps make the process of electrical production more efficient.
Yes.
Have you
Yes.
made any additional progress on this front?
Yes, we are learning a lot from the customer under this point of view, because the same guy that you have seen of them, which was a colonel engineer, has a very big experience in power plants and in thermodynamics. And we are learning very much. So I think that electricity from our ecat will come sooner than expected. Yes.
Thank you. Back to the home ecat size. Could you give us an idea of how much energy is pulled when the unit is in startup modes, turning, let's say you turn the thermostat on, you've been away, and you turn on the thermostat, the house needs to heat up. What would be the amount of energy in kilowatts that the device would pull when it's first starting?
Yes. You consider that every 10 kilowatts of power draw about during the startup, the activation period, we draw about 2.7, 2.9 kilowatt of power. So basically during the activation you consume 2.7, 2.9 kilowatt hours per hour, and this goes on for up to, depends. In a small ecat, it takes 1 hour. In a 1 megawatt plant, it takes a couple of hours because there we have more complex problems. But in any case, yes, the activation energy is at 2.7 kilowatt hour per hour every 10 kilowatt of power of the plant.
Okay. Also, the 1 megawatt size was made of about 100 modules with 3 reactors in each, whereas the home unit would only have 1 module or 1 reactor unit per system?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Moving to a different area, what is the status of the U.S. patent application?
The status, it is still pending. We have, our patent has been granted in Italy. So the process of authorization and study of the patent has been 2 years long in Italy, and then we had the patent granted, while the international and the U.S. are still pending.
Any prognosis of when those might be granted, if so?
It is absolutely impossible because this is an issue that absolutely does not depend on us.
Uh-huh.
Our patent attorneys are working on it, and I can't say any more because this is an issue that absolutely does not depend on us, but that's it.
Okay. This next question from Lou Peguero is one that we see a lot, but this is worded in a way that I've not seen before. He's proposing the following: why not sell the ecat secret to the public directly? I mean, come up with a dollar amount, and once the dollar amount has been reached, you then give ecat to the world like Salk did with the polio vaccine.
I received many proposals to give for free the technology to the world, but I think that this could be not the best way to put the technology at the service of mankind, because If you take off the incentive to the investors, nobody will accept to invest in this technology. And without investments, I do not think that this will be developed. While if we want to make something useful that goes beyond the fact of the production and distribution of the ecat, we can do it, and we will do it. As I already said, a consistent part of our profits will serve to build an organization to help the healthcare of children where they are not able to provide to it. And we are organizing also this in a very efficient way. But I think that to give away the technology is the worst way to make this technology be developed and reinforced.
I should comment that really the open source question is moot, because after a certain period of time, once the product is available, and you have acknowledged this, reverse engineering will take place, and your strategy is to make the device so cheap through advanced engineering and production technology that you will have an advantage in the marketplace that you can maintain to be able to recoup the investment that has been made. And so once the reverse engineering takes place, another word for that will be open source. It will get out there and others will begin working on it. And you're fully aware of that, and your solution to that is to provide a product that is so cheap and well engineered that they can't compete because you have the advantage of time.
You are absolutely correct.
So to answer the question, it will be open sourced, but not from Andrea Rossi.
Exactly.
Okay. I think that will help put a lot of people to rest, because I still get a lot of people wanting to...
It will be an open source from us anyway, because reverse engineering comes from us. But we need to have the time to set up an organization to defend the development of this technology along an industrial strategy, which, open source, don't think that open source means that it will be easy to make it very well and with a worldwide distribution. Think to make a comparison between what made Microsoft and what made the open source competitors of Microsoft. And you can understand very well the difference that is between a strong company that whose investors cure and nurture a powerful industrial organization and a Brownian motion of initiatives wherein nobody puts real money because there is not a proper revenue policy.
Okay. Jumping to another subject, the testing at the University of Bologna and Uppsala University that's going to take 2 years, is that underway, or what's the status of that?
Well, it is. We are working on it. And it is very close to be started.
Okay.
In this, in this period, we had a tremendous amount of work to do, for all we have done, and I need time for that activity. And in any case, in February, we will start that work.
Along the lines of academic and the science behind this, certainly you're aware of blacklight power and their approach. Do you have a position on Dr. Mill's use of Maxwellian mathematics to explain the effect?
I never ever comment on my competitors.
Okay. Can you tell us about any other upcoming tests that are planned that we could know about?
No. In this moment, we are working on the industrialization, and we have to prepare the production of 1 million pieces, and that is the work we are doing. Of course, the tests of the ECATs and also the work with Uppsala and Bologna will go ahead, but no more public tests. At this point, we are going to a mass production of the ECATs, and this is the job that we need to do.
And speaking about mass production...
Sorry, excuse me.
Go ahead.
No, sorry to have interrupted you. I just wanted only to add that once the ECATs will be for sale, the small ECATs, everybody will be able to buy one and make all the tests he will want.
Yeah, that'll satisfy a lot of people. Speaking of the ecat sales, you're talking about 1 million units. It's not clear in my mind if you start production in the fall or if the units are available for sale in the fall.
No. We will start the production in the fall. We will have ready all the engineering to start the production, and the sales will start in the winter, and the production will be 1 pieces per year. But from now to the fall, the work will be to prepare the factories.
Okay. And so the sales start in the winter, and 1 million, is that the rate of units produced per year?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you expect that to change to in, say, 3 or 5 years?
This is difficult to say because it will depend on the market. It is very difficult to answer this question. It is very difficult. It depends on the market.
All right. Totally different question. I get inquiries from time to time about investment. I know there are people out there interested in investing in your company. What ranges of dollar amounts will you consider for investment? Anything above X dollars, for example?
The issue is of a philosophical kind because we are not yet, our company, before we will have millions of ECATs in operation, our company will be a sort of a worship. As I usually say, I want not to play football with the bones of the others. We want not to accept money from people that has saved the money working, and they want to invest their money to give how can I say, safety to their family. We want not that they put at risk the saving of families in our enterprise now, because our enterprise is still risky for many reasons. And so we can accept investments from big organizations that can invest a small for them amount, some hedge funds of their finances, and can risk it in a way that if something goes wrong, nobody is going to cry. And nobody is going to be damaged, really.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sure. I appreciate
So
that. And
basically, it is too soon to. It is too soon. Soon. Yes. It is too early now for people to invest in this operation, in this concern, in our business, because.
right.
Our business is not enough consolidated to put the savings of families in this operation. And when we will be well consolidated, at that point we will go public.
Okay. A lot of questions along this line. You have thousands of supporters.
Sterling, just one thing. I am very tired.
Okay. And I am close to the end of my questions, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to mention we are at an hour and a half. We must have just about drained all of Mr. Rossi's batteries.
I am very tired because today, even if it is Saturday, but I worked about 16 hours, and now I risk to fall asleep one moment or the other.
We don't want that to happen. Okay. We have asked a lot of questions, but this one question comes up a lot, and you have thousands of supporters who want to assist you in any way they can. Could you maybe give people an idea of some things that they could do to help now or maybe in the future? Give us maybe a few bullet points of ways that people can help move this technology forward and get involved, and when they could get involved.
We are working deeply and profoundly to make the ecat at a very, very, very low price to allow people to pay back the ecat in few months. The best help is to consider that getting an ecat, they save money for 30 years, which is the expected life of an ecat. So to pre-order an ecat is a thing that gives us a good base. Is not risky because it costs nothing. And when the cats will be ready to be for sale, we will send to everybody who makes a pre-order a specific offer, and everybody will be free to cancel the pre-order or confirm it. And this is a good way to help us. And so not send the money, but just say, well, when the ecat will be out, I will be ready to buy it. The price anyway will be between $400 and $500 for a 10 kilowatt issue, and this is a win-win proposal. But and that's it. And stay touch with us. Stay in touch with us, and for now, we have just to work. Like it.
Are you still taking inquiries for licensing?
Yes, yes. I am taking inquiries for licensing.
And someone who is interested, should they address you through your website, ecat.com? Is there some kind of a form or something they can fill out there?
Or they can, yes, yes, exactly. Just it is enough to send an email and anything. They can also send an email to the to Sterling Allen to his website and or to info@leonardocorp1996.com or to ecat.com or
Yeah, my email address is sterlingda@pureenergysystems.com. And Sterling is not spelled like a Stirling engine, but Sterling, DA for David Allen, at pure, like clean, pureenergysystems.com.
Gentlemen, I'm going to have to cut in here. We have taken an awful lot of Mr. Rossi's time, and before we cut him loose, I would like him to have an opportunity. I would like him to have an opportunity to address his live audience. Mr. Rossi, right now we have 250 people viewing this broadcast live on Justin TV. There are about 58 in the chat room who have been actively engaging in chat. The questions have been coming in fast and furious. Most of the questions, most of the comments have been extremely positive. Unfortunately, some of them are a bit disappointed because we were not able to address all of their issues. But sir, I would like to give you the floor before we cut you loose and allow you an opportunity to please speak to your audience. These are your fans.
I really love you all because you gave me enthusiasm and courage to go ahead. And that's all I have to say. I thank you very much. I feel your sustain, and it is extremely important. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your attention.
In response, Andrea Rossi, I want to commend you on your courage and tenacity to do what few people, if any, have dared do. You are not afraid of what's quote-unquote impossible or has never been done before or is seen as, quote, ridiculous by others. You're very unorthodox, and even though it may be difficult for people to understand you and to work with that kind of an operation, you are tireless and you are courageous, and we salute you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, I think at this point we should really cut the connection and let Mr. Rossi get some rest. Are we all in agreement?
I'm good.
Mr. Rossi,
Good night.
From my side of the conversation, thank you very much for appearing on the Smart Scarecrow Show, and we wish you all the luck in the world. We look forward to seeing this thing on an end cap with a sale price on it at Home Depot and Walmart within the next year. Please, get it there.
Thank you very much. We will, and again, thank you, and good evening to everybody.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Alrighty, I have broken the connection with Mr. Rossi. To the folks in the audience, you please have some understanding, the questions came in so darn fast. Sterling, did you see how fast I was posting questions up on your
Yeah,
Skype?
you know, but as I was looking
I
through
think we got
those,
most of them.
I think we addressed pretty much everything that you had. I didn't see anything that we didn't cover. Well, I take that back. There were a few technical questions.
I know there were some we missed, and to the audience, you know, we did the best we could, guys. I mean, you know, some of the questions were very, very difficult for him to answer. I mean, it took him a little time. You know, I wish I could guarantee everyone that, you know, every one of these Smart Scarecrow Show broadcasts was going to be absolutely perfect and meet with all your expectations. But damn it, we did the best we could, and I think we did pretty damn well.
Well, I personally got a lot of information some clarification through this interview that was not clear in my mind, and so I felt it was very worthwhile, and I'm grateful for you allowing us to use your Smart Scarecrow venue as the hosting platform for this interview.
Well, all things considered, you know, I think if we had not chose a Saturday where we were in competition with all the kids broadcasting their Xbox games, you know, it probably would have gone a little smoother. I was fighting with bandwidth on Justin TV the whole show. Had to use JPEGs instead of live video for most of the broadcast. But you know, like everything else in the world, you know, we do the best we can. Well, Sterling,
of course, in this case, the audio was the most important thing. And
well, yeah, no question about it. Sterling, you know, before I cut you loose for the day and let you have the rest of your Saturday afternoon to yourself, I'd like to invite you to say your piece, and we'll go ahead and shut this show down.
Well, you know, there's a lot of skepticism about Andrea Rossi's technology and his approach, and that's why my final comment, you know, as I was saying that to him, I just about started crying. You know, he really, I have a lot of respect for him, and even though he's not perfect, and he's not, you know, doing this the way a normal scientist would, that's why we've not seen this technology, is because the normal scientists are too cowardly. He's not. And we need courageous people like him who don't care about all the people who say that's impossible or you shouldn't do it that way. We don't do things around here like that. He just does it. And I think he's an amazing person. And there's no way he's a fraudster. Absolutely not. Maybe sloppy in some regards, but boy, he gets stuff done. You know, a year ago when he made his press conference, he said that in October he was going to demonstrate a 1 megawatt power plant. And by golly, he did. How many other free energy inventors do you know of who have met their deadlines? I can't think of a single one. Well, even though it wasn't a full megawatt, you know, it turned out being a little less than half a megawatt.
Well, whatever it was good enough that a customer wrote him a check. So, you know, I mean, you know, my point of view on all this is, you know, a customer that's willing to write a big check and take delivery on a gizmo like that, pretty hard to call it a fraud if somebody's got, you know, their experts on site sniffing it, saying, yeah, okay, this is cool, let's buy it. You know, a guy willing to pay money, that's pretty darn good endorsement as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, I'm a simple country boy. You know, small things impress me.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for letting us do this show. I need to run off. My wife just texted me saying it's time to go do dinner. We've got an appointment.
I hear you. Hey, Sterling, we'll talk to you on Thursday.
4:44, good time to end.
All right, take care now. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Alrighty, and I have cut Sterling Allen loose for the evening, and I'll tell you, the viewer count's dropping like a stone, you know. I come online, you know, y'all have seen me before, I'm not that exciting. But in any case, that was the special edition of the Smart Scarecrow Show for Saturday, of all times, Saturday, November 14th. 2012. Now, for those of you who missed the beginning of the show, I'm going to do the best I can to get this thing packaged up and set so I can rebroadcast it in a loop here on Justin TV. But frankly, with the bandwidth restrictions that Justin TV has put on me today, you may just want to wait until I can post it on YouTube. That's going to take me at least an hour or two to get up there. I will work on that before I call it a day, and hopefully it'll be available on all the various on-demand viewing sites. I upload to iTunes and Vimeo and Blip TV and VodPod and YouTube, and just about every one of them out there you should be able to find this recording. And I think the way I had this thing set up tonight, I really restricted what I was actually sending to JTV, so you guys saw kind of a watered down version. I concentrated on getting audio to JTV, didn't worry too much about the video. Should be a much cleaner production if you view the recording. In any case, there is a tradition when it comes to Smart Scarecrow shows. If you should have any last-minute issues that you would like to present to me before I shut this puppy down for the day, I'll be happy to take those on now. Obviously, you know, I'm not an expert on ecats. I'm not sure I can answer your questions on that, but if you have any questions or any comments you would like to direct at me before I shut this puppy down, I will take those on at this time. Okay, well, believe me, I appreciate any accolades. I really do. I don't know, you know, you guys have no idea what goes into putting one of these things on, and you really don't want to know. I'm just telling you. So someday try it. Try pulling off a production like this. And alrighty. Anything you can do for me? Well, you know, that does bring up. There is something you can do for me. You know, I produce this show every Thursday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard U.S. time. That's GMT -5. Every Thursday evening, I'm here putting on a show. And technically, my productions should feature amateur projects from people working in their garage, working in their basement, working in the backyard on some kind of interesting alternative energy related project. Not every one of these projects is going to be groundbreaking like a cold fusion device or have worldwide appeal. Not every one of these projects is going to be ready to go in shrink wrap and sit on an end cap at Walmart. But you know, there's a lot of interesting projects being worked on by a lot of very dedicated amateurs who've got some good ideas, and they deserve a slap on the back and an attaboy. And the purpose of the Smart Scarecrow show is to give them that pat on the back and an attaboy. So the invitation is out. You want to do something for the Smart Scarecrow show? Well, if you've got an interesting project that you're working on, put your hand up. You know, send an email to smartscarecrow@gmail.com. Tell me what you're working on. You know, if you got something that's interesting that might be of interest to an audience that's very enthusiastic about anything related to alternative ways to get energy, that's how you can help me. Show me what you got. Let's put up a show around your project. And I think that's going to be it, guys. This little 1.5 hour production today cost me about 6 hours. So I better pay attention to my wife or I'll be sleeping in the doghouse. Hey, thanks to all of you for watching this special presentation. I'll do the best I can to get it up and running as a rerun here on Justin TV as quickly as I possibly can. Have a good evening, folks.